Hey all you super players out there, Ben Lodes aka 5 Buck Lunch coming at you with a red-yellow Beerus deck profile. This deck was made for someone on Reddit who asked me to make a red-yellow Beerus deck that was affordable yet still powerful in Tier 1. So if you notice there's a couple things missing of here, and at the end I'll talk about adding those in if you want to optimize it, but this is a great deck to build if you're just starting out. It has a lot of mechanics in it, which will help you get better at the game, and the deck isn't super expensive, so it's something you can afford if you're new, while still being super powerful. So the Beerus leader on the front side, once per turn choose one red or yellow card, place in your drop area, draw 2 cards, so it has cycle, and then after it awakens at 4, uh, once per turn, pay red yellow, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it, so it can KO any battle card for 2 energy, which is very strong. And as active battle, once per turn, choose one red-yellow multicolor card in your drop area and combo with it. Now it has to be red-yellow multi, so you can't select like a super combo or something. And basically what you're going to do is use this to allow you to put free arrivals in play and allow you to become a 25k battle card. Another important thing with this is since it's active battle, it doesn't have to be on your leader attack, so you can use it to make your other battle card stronger as well. Now, starting off, we're going to have 3 Whis Godly Fundamentals. This is a card that's exclusive to the Beerus leader. It's a 1-cost 5k active main. If your leader card is Beerus card, you can send this card from your drop to your warp. Choose one card in your life, add it to your hand, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards. Gains minus 5k power for the turn. So mostly we're going to be using this to control our life so that we can awaken when we want to. One thing to note about the Beerus leader is while it draws on the front side, it does not draw on the back side. Instead, you get that free combo. So you're going to want to really know when you want to combo or when you want to awaken and be able to control that. You know, see we have several things in this deck that get us there. 2 Heroic Duo Videl. It's a 1-cost 5k counter attack negate put in play. So we're going to use this for some extra negates, and it's a red card in case we need to combo with it. 3 Flying Nimbus. This card has a lot of red-yellow is the best for outs to decks that are aggressive. Between Flying Nimbus and Topo, we have a lot of ways to stop the baby decks. 2 Trunks the Cunning. 1 cost 5k. When you play this card, draw 1 card, then for the duration of the game, if the turn player would use a skill of a battle card or extra card to untap energy on their turn, they have to warp 5 cards from their discard pile. So this is basically just in there to counteract blue decks. This deck has a lot of fluidity. A lot of these cards you'll see that are 2-ofs their numbers can be changed depending on your local meta. That's one nice thing about this deck is it has a lot of flexibility and a lot of spots where you can put in tech cards. 4 super combos. A lot of people are playing the Elegant Assistance Heals for this deck because it's a draw 2 warp 1 super combo, but I prefer to have a red or yellow super combo in here because it allows for your arrivals easier. 2 Denial of Hope. This is just really useful in a lot of circumstances. You can use it to stop topos. You can use it to counter your opponent's main plays. Just a very useful card. 2 Hidden Power Ace Supreme Kais. We don't have a lot of double strike in this deck, so we need a way to get it, and this is going to get us there for that. 4 Whis the Spectator. This is the red-yellow untapped energy. So obviously we're going to play it in our red-yellow deck. 2 Beerus Biding His Time. This is another pretty exclusively Beerus card, which is kind of cool. It's a 3-drop 5k, 15k power critical. Only one of these can be in play at a time. And if you have a red-yellow multicolor card in your energy, the energy cost is reduced by 2. So it's a 1-cost 15k critical essentially, which is really good for this deck. Gives you a little more attacking power, and you can combine it with Ace Supreme Kai to give you double strike critical. 2 SS3 Goku one-hit wonders. When your opponent's battle card's power is decreased, you can put it in play from your hand for free, and you can only have one in play at a time. Also, if it's in your discard pile, you can pay 1 red active battle. Send this card from your drop to your warp. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 5k power third edition of the turn. So this can combo with itself to come in play for free. It can also combo with Whis Godly Fundamentals to come in play for free. 2 Source of Power Son Goku. When this card attacks, you may choose up to 2 cards in your life, add them to your hand. If you do, and if you do, it gains 5k power, and it switches to active mode. So it essentially gains dual dual attack and becomes a 20k for the turn. This just helps us put in some damage. That's another utility card that we have. 3 Baby Vegeta, an unfair choice. 3 cost, 5k for 0, 19k power. Active main, choose one card in your hand, place it in your drop area, choose one. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, switch it to rest mode, or choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO it. One thing to note is this ability is not once per turn, so you can switch something to rest and then discard another card to KO it immediately, and this gets around barrier. So our leader can KO anything by paying 2, but it cannot get around barrier. So this is a way for us to get rid of barrier cards where we didn't have before with Beerus Furious Strike. 3 Chomp of the Trickster. This is probably the best counterplay for 2 right now, so we're going to play 3 of them. It's counterplay, tap something ignoring barrier, and you draw a card. It just gets out of all certain edge cases and sticky situations. 2 Trunks Stay in Majesty. This card is in your drop area. When your opponent's card is switched to rest mode by a skill, draw 1 card. You discard it and draw 1 card. And then Active Battle for 1 yellow. Send this card for your drop to your warp. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost of 4 or less, and switch it to rest mode. The first effect we aren't going to use a whole lot. I mean, if we switch something to rest with Chomp of the Trickster, we can use it to cycle. Mostly we're going to be using this discard effect. Being Active Battle, being able to switch something to rest 4 or less on our opponent's turn is really, really strong. We can also use it on our turn, attack with something weak, and then switch one of their blockers to rest mode, or switch something they're comboing to rest mode so that they can't combo with. Just a very useful card in general. For Son Goku, Dawn of Divinity, 3 cost, red, yellow, 1k for 1, has critical and offering with 20k attack. This isn't a terrible card to put in play. Sometimes we'll use it for that, but mostly it's going to be used early for a card to discard with our leader so that we can combo with it later, or it will be used to charge for turn 1 on our energy so we can get our multicolor going. There aren't that many cards that are red, yellow, multicolor that aren't baby cards, so we're kind of restricted on what kind of cards we can play and still have our red, yellow energy for our effects. For Topa Red Shade, this is still one of the best cards in the format. 4 drop, 5k for 0, 20k power. It's a counter attack where you have to discard a card from your hand, and then it costs 2 less on your opponent's turn. And when your opponent attacks from then on, they have to discard 2 cards every time. It usually just shuts your opponent's turn down. And since this deck tends to play more defensively, we want to play 4. For Beerus, No Holds Barred. This is kind of our aggressive card and defensive card. It's a 5 cost, 1k for 1, arrival for red, yellow. When you play this card, choose one. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 3k power or less and KO it, which is going to be most battle cards. There are very few outside of Secret Rares that are higher than 3k. Or you can choose one of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier. That card cannot be switched to active mode until the start of your next main phase. So basically, or we can tap something down. It can't untap until the next turn. Mostly we're going to be using this for the first effect and because it has 25k power. And then with our leader effect in our turn, we can combo and it becomes 35k power, which is very hard to get over. You can also use this early against Dragon Ball leaders, Wish leaders, so that they can't untap and search their Dragon Balls. Something you can actually do on turn 2. That can be a very powerful play and delay their game plan going forward. And then we have a couple mirrors in here to kind of help us finish off our opponent. We play the East Kai, Mirror plus East Kai, combo that's been around for a while. It's overwhelm for 4, and when it attacks, it gains 5k for every card in your warp, so it basically just becomes a massive attack. We give it double strike with East Supreme Kai, and we're good to go. So yeah, this is a very, very strong deck and a strong leader that doesn't cost that much, especially because it doesn't play any of the draft box cards, which are the things that, are super expensive right now. Now, if you want to increase your price a little bit, these are some cards you could think about playing and some cards that are coming out in the future. So, Great Ape Goku Saiyan Instincts is the big one. This card I think is around $20 to $30 right now though, and it's not completely necessary. It just optimizes the deck very well because it has an ability, active main for 2 generic, send this card from your drop to your warp, draw 2 cards. So it gives us a way to draw while we're awakened, which is something Beerus doesn't do normally. And you could just discard it early to draw 2 cards. This is the first thing I would add in if you have the money and you want to increase the power of the deck. Beerus Ball is also a card I want to talk about. It's very important for the side deck because so many people are playing uh, counter plays like Champa and things like that. This can be used to get around there, and it's very good for that. Uh, for secret rares, if you want to add a secret rare in, I would suggest Frieza Army Reborn as opposed to the baby secret rare. I honestly don't like the baby secret rare that much in here. Baby secret rare is good if you're getting a bunch of attacks through, and this deck doesn't really do that. It's more about like big single attackers than going wide. So if you want to add a secret rare, add in Frieza, but keep in mind if you play Frieza, you're going to want to be charging red and multicolor every turn because it requires 5 red to play. But it is very easy to get to our 2 life because we get to use our Source of Power Son Goku and our 1-drop Whis to regulate our life really, really easily and for no energy. 2 cards that are coming out that'll help this deck a lot. Broly Crown of Retribution has a 1-cost 5k red auto. If your leader card is red when you play this card, if your opponent has 2 or more energy in active mode, your opponent reveals their hand and you can choose a battle card with 20k power or less and place it in your opponent's drop area. So this is going to be very, very good for mirrors and other control decks because you can grab topos out of their hand and they're often going to have energy untapped on your turn. This is something that's coming out soon that will be very, very good for the Beerus deck. Also, Almighty Resistance is a 2-cost extra card, red, yellow. Counter. If your leader card is red, you could choose 1 yellow card in your hand, place it in your drop area, negate a counterattack skill. So this is going to be very good with our Mira East Supreme Kai counter. It basically makes us, for 4 mana, we are automatically doing 2 damage, pretty much. It's going to be very, very difficult to counter over, and Mira has Deflect, so a lot of the counter plays don't affect him. This is another card coming out soon that will be very, very good for this deck. So yeah, I like this deck a lot. This is one of the best decks in the format, I think. It is very good at kind of controlling the board and not giving your opponent a lot of options on how to play. It's also one of the cheaper decks, which is really nice. I think this whole deck, the Beeruses are a little bit up there, and the Topos are a little bit up there. But other than these 2 cards, everything in the deck, I believe, is $5 or less. So it's very cheap other than these 2 cards. Fortunately, we do need a bunch of copies of them, but at the same time, as far as competitive like tier 1 decks go, it's pretty cheap. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and please like, subscribe, hit up the Patreon down below, and go out there, play some Super, and have some fun.